your positive personal approach, positive physical approach cards, and you watch, when we watch the video, which we're pretending we watched the video, we didn't watch it. Okay, so you notice the statements and all of that kind of stuff to get going. So, what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you a way of approaching a person living with dementia in the amber state. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to get about 6 feet apart, and so that you can get their attention. And then you smile and make a bright looking face, and then you put your hand up by their face, up by your face, so that they can see that you want to engage with them.
Okay.
So that they can see that you want to engage with them. Once that you see that you have engaged and you have their attention, then you're going to slowly walk forward, but not lean, and extend your hand, all the while keeping your face like this. And then when you sit there and you stand there and you've made contact and they're okay with this, then you would go to the hand under hand approach, and then you can come over to the side, and then you can go together. And so you can kind of help them. Come on, Grandma Rose. You can kind of help them go where it is they need to go. So when you grab somebody and you get a hold of them like that, that's called a supportive stance, because you're supporting them under one arm. And with the amber and the other advanced dementias, the people who aren't very talkative and the people that are not able to engage in activity unless you are physically helping them, then that is non-threatening. Now, Rose, I want you to take your hands and put them like this and pretend you have binoculars on, and all you can see is now what can't you see with me being this far away from you? What can you still see?
Your face. Yeah, I don't see any peripheral vision at all.
Right, so that's why you want to put your hand up by your face, and then you want to keep approaching them so that in a non-threatening way, and then you can extend your hand, and when they extend their hand, then you can still come and go to the side, but you still keep your face facing them.
Yeah.
And you go like that.
It's non-threatening.
It's non-threatening. Okay. So when you stop I'm going to have you guys, we're not going to do all the gem states, we'll just do one gem state. And so, if you would like to approach Rose, get 6 feet, just go in slowly and smile, but get her attention at about 6 feet. Then put your hand up by your face. Your hand up by your face? I can't see, is it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then as you're getting there, you're going to want to extend your hand, still staying back a little bit, but that's okay. And then you take your hand and put it under. Your hand goes under hers. There you go. And then by still facing her, you can do it. It's awkward to get used to. And then you guys have the supportive stance, and you can stay and you can move like that. Okay, so you're looking friendly, you're making eye contact, you use their preferred name, if you know what it is. And then that helps to ensure that the person notices your hand. You know, most of the time they'll still remember their name, even if they can't respond very well to it. So when they notice your face and you're slowly moving your hand down, that's because the person is letting you know that they're willing to interact with you when they do that.
She was too close before she extended her hand.
Mm-hmm.
I was intimidated.
Yep. So that's why the 6 foot rule is important. And if it's me, it's going to be another 12-foot rule. So, okay. So you want to know, the other thing this does is protects you as the worker, because you want to know where their hands are. And by the time you approach them calmly and you have that one hand, then you know what's going on, and you can keep from perhaps them getting injured or you getting injured yourself if they should become combative. So what I need you to do is I need you to break up into groups of 3. Park. Okay. So one person is going to be the person living with dementia. One person is going to be the student approaching the person living with dementia, and one person is going to be an observer. Okay? And then when we get done, we're going to ask questions about how it went. So, you want to be the person living with dementia, and Rose can approach you. You want to do that? Just stand right. Yeah, just stand back a little. And then Nancy, you can be over there maybe observing. And then Rose.
And this one I use the camera, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll be like you're videotaping it and observing it, and then I'll ask you questions. Okay. So, one person is the approacher, one person is the person living with dementia, and you are the observer that's recording. So after you approach her and go through it, we'll watch the video on the phone together and discuss it.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Gotta wait till you're 6 feet.
Okay.
So you don't wanna approach her until you're 6 feet, cause she can't see it.
Okay.
Okay, about there, and then stop.
Hi, Becky.
Hi.
How you doing today?
You wanna move the hand that's by your face.
Oh.
It's hard. Now you go to the side. No, you were right first time, your hand under. And then you can get under and then you can walk like that.
Alright, let's go. Let's take a walk.
Okay, so did you stop at 6 feet?
I tried.
Okay, so let's check things out. Do you want to, do you need to get closer or further away? But before we sit down, now I want you to go through the exact same thing, but I want you to have binoculars. Put binoculars on like you're the person living with dementia and all you can see is that little bit, because as you age, and then you get tunnel vision and you can only see. So as you're approaching her, then you're gonna approach her again slowly, and then I'm gonna ask you what you saw, the difference what you saw when you're going there. So go ahead and approach her to the 6
Okay.
feet.
Hi, Becky.
Put your hand in by your face.
How are you today?
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Pretend, yeah, and she might not be able to talk with you.
Can we take a walk?
And then you're gonna go. Okay, let's walk out to the table, and we will discuss your videos together. Have a seat. Okay. I'm going to just, for time's sake, pretend that each person had a chance to be the patient living with dementia, and so I'm gonna do some things. So, how did that go for you, Rose and Becky and Nancy? Was it thumbs up, so-so, or thumbs down?
Oh, so.
Mine was thumbs up.
Okay. So, did you get permission, or did you just get a refusal? When you
No,
were approached that first time, what did you said you felt intimidated?
I did feel intimidated.
So was
She
you-
was a little too close.
So you might
Before she
have balked
extended
a
her
little
hand.
bit,
Yeah.
might refuse a little bit. Okay, how did it feel, for the people who were observing? Did you notice maybe anything that one way went better than the other?
I noticed that she was too close, but other than that was
She
everything
didn't
went
work.
good. Yes,
Mhm.
everything went good at the same time.
Okay. So, as for the approacher, what is one thing that you think that did that was really, really good
Comfort.
during your approach? What do you think you did that was really, really good?
I spoke to her
Got by her preferred name.
and I looked at her face. I looked at her. I watched her.
Made eye contact with her.
Made eye contact.
Mhm, very good. Now, if you were going to change something about your approach, what would be the one thing that you might think about changing when you did it again the next time?
I don't know. What would I have done?
Maybe when you felt intimidated, maybe go slower.
Yes.
When you're
Yeah.
impatient, you could maybe
Yeah.
go slower.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay. Okay. So, what did you have to? Can you imagine adjusting if you had to go with someone with a different gem state? For instance, that was amber. So the amber gem state people are really they're imitators, but you can't give them a task and say,
Right.
here, brush your teeth, or here, comb your hair, but they're imitators. And so by doing that hand under hand, and you can help them get started, and you can show them how to do a task at the same time. And some of the time they will take over, and some of the time they won't, but our goal is to get a task accomplished, working with them, and not doing everything to them. Because as we've learned in previous discussions, when it's much easier, much nicer having a task done with you than having a task done for you. For instance, when someone had to brush your teeth, that was not very exciting. But it was better for when you did. So, how will we practice next? Who, what, when, where, and why. We're going to take a break. And our next thing we're going to do is we're going to get partners, and we're going to make a plan, and then we are going to go ahead and we're going to work on our last objective.